I want to start talking about some of the functions that are based on or built upon the if platform, right? And or, right? Those are functions that work along with if. We start getting into functions such as SUMIF, the if is incorporated into the function. SUMIF is going to add cells specified by a given condition or criteria. So let's say we have a large range of sales numbers, and I want to, for whatever reason, get the total of sales that are greater than 500, right? I only want to include the sale number in the total if it's greater than 500. The SUMIF function is what I would use for that. This is what the SUMIF arguments would look like. We have the range. This is the criteria range. So range and criteria work together, right? So this would be the cells we're analyzing. This would be the criteria for those cells. Sum range is optional because sometimes the cells we're analyzing and the cells we want to sum are one and the same. So like in the example I just gave, we wouldn't need the sum range because I'm analyzing these sales numbers and I want to include those specific numbers in the summation if they're greater than 500, right? If, let's say, I wanted to analyze this column, but then sum up these corresponding values over here in this other column, then I would use sum range to specify the specific cells I wanted to sum. There's also a SUMIFS function, right? So with all these functions we're going to look at, there's a singular and plural version. The SUMIFS function is for if we have multiple sets of criteria, all right? So let's take a look at how we can do a SUMIF. All right, so I have all these sales values over here. And I am looking at, or production values rather, and I'm looking at the product and the line and all these different things. And I have these lines listed here, and I want to figure out the total production per line. What is the total production per line? So I want to look and analyze these lines, and I only want it to include the last year production value in the total if the line is equal to annex for this first example. Now to make life easier, I'm going to go ahead and create named ranges real quick for each column. Click OK. Cool, so I have named ranges. This is going to make life easier so I don't have to highlight cells and make them absolute. Who wants to do that? Use name ranges, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and insert my SUMIF function. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. These functions are not categorized under the logical category. I don't know why. I fuss about it all the time, and yet they're still there in different places. I think they should all be under the logical category because that's, in my opinion, what they are. They have them categorized based on the output, right, or the type of output. So this is a sum, so this would be considered a Math and Trig function, okay? So under Math and Trig, we can scroll, and here we find SUMIF, and there also is SUMIFS, right? If we had multiple conditions, like if I were saying, I want you to only include this in the sum if the line is annex and if the total is greater than 10,000, right? Then I'd use SUMIFS because I have multiple conditions. So we're going to use SUMIF because we only have one condition. All right. The range, remember, range and criteria are joined at the hip, right? So the range is the cells I'm analyzing. The criteria is going to be the logical test for that analysis. Range, I want to look at the lines. I'm going to use my named range for line. Cool. If I didn't do that, I'd have to highlight that whole thing, right? So this makes life easier. Criteria, I want it to only include it in the total if it's equal to the value in this cell, which is annex. In this case, I need to do a sum range, right? Because I'm analyzing these cells, these lines, but I want to actually sum up the last year production. So I'm going to come here to sum range, using formula. Let's grab last year production. And there we go. Click OK. I can copy that down, and it is working. It is summing up based on this line. Now, if I want to check my work here, I could do one of two things. I could either make two of these be exactly the same, and the number should be the same. Or I can make one of them something that doesn't exist and it should give me a 0. And this lets me know it's actually analyzing the correct cells based on the values in those cells, right? So whenever I want to extract and do a sum only on values that meet a specific criteria, SUMIF or SUMIFS is the way to go.